Hello. So, as I said yesterday, or in the previous video, we're just going to split this lesson into two. So, I've come back to this page. I've got two questions on the right-hand side. See if you could draw it. If you can, that's wonderful. If not, then obviously let me know. And then we're going to move on to what we're actually doing today. Okay, so x plus y equals 10. What you do then is you effectively go, right, you ignore the x, well, you say x is 0, right? So 0 plus y is 10, well then y must be 10 if 0 plus y is 10, right? So y is 10, so you go to the y-axis and draw a little dot on 10. And then what you do is you say, okay, what would happen if y is 0? Because if y is 0, we're going to have one of the x values, aren't we? So if y is 0, we get x is 10 again. So then that's it. And so then all the parts on this line to this line will have whatever the x value is, whatever the y value is equal 10, right? So, for example, on this line is 6, 4, and we know that 6 plus 4 is 10. On this line is 3, 7, if I drew a better line, and 3 plus 7 is 10. So, quite an easy way of drawing. We spoke about this in the last video. For this one, same idea. You say, okay, when x is 0, so this would be gone, right? You'd have negative 3y is 12. Well, if negative 3y is 12, I can divide by negative 3 to get y is 4. Y is negative 4. So I get that value here, and y is negative 4 comes here. And then if I look at y being 0, so that's going to give me the x value, isn't it? If y is 0, I get 2x is 12, so x is 6. So then I can put x is 6 as here, and then I can draw my line, and that works for all values there as well. Obviously, the straighter the line, the better. But just to make sure, when x is 0, we get when x is 6, that would make 2 times 6 is 12, take away 0, because that's the coordinate. If there's another coordinate here, which I'm going to say is probably this one, when x is 3, that'd give us 6, and negative 2 is y, so that'd be negative 3 times negative 2 is also 6, so 6 and 6 is again 12. So this works for this line as well. Okay, so just a quick recap of how solving equations works, which is what we're doing for the last part. When you're solving an equation, you're trying to get the x, or whatever the letter is, on its own. So you think, okay, what's happening to it? It's being, what's currently happening to x? It's being multiplied by 5 and then subtracted by 13. So what I do then is I remove all the numbers on this side by doing the opposite of what's happening to x. So it's being multiplied by 5 first, and then subtracted by 13. So I'm going to add 13 to both sides. I do that so it gets rid of the negative 13 on this side. That gets me 5x equals 45. And then, because 32 plus 13, right? And then, what's happening to x is being multiplied by 5, so I divide by 5 on both sides, and I get x is 9, right? So we try to remove all the numbers from the side the variable is on. To do this, we think, using BEDMAS is happening to x, so multiply and then subtract. Then we remove the numbers and using the opposite signs, so we got rid of the minus, so we added, we got rid of the times, so we divided. And if we do that, we get a value for x. What happens then if there's an unknown on both sides? The key to this then is to recognize that we really shouldn't try solve a question if we have unknowns on both sides. So really, we should try and make the unknowns be on the same side. If we do that, then what we'll have is we'll just have a two-step equation, like the one we just did. So, what do we move? Do we move 5x or 3x? Now, if you imagine I had 5 really heavy things over here and 3 really heavy things over there, and I was like, hey, I need them together. Would you rather move the 5 things or would you rather move the 3 things? And I'm hoping you'd say the 3 things because that would be less work. And that's exactly the answer here. This doesn't actually, you don't have to do it this way, but I do know, look, it doesn't give me any ability to use any other color pen today. They update it every day, I swear. So we pick the one that weighs the least, and that's what we remove first. So 5x or 3x, that's what we're gonna remove one of them. Well, 3x weighs less, so let's subtract 3x from both sides. If we do that, and the reason we subtract the 3x is because obviously it's currently a positive 3x, so we're going to subtract that 3x, but also just always subtract the thing that weighs the least. If we do that, we get 2x plus 4 on this side, and then we get just 10 on that side. And when you're here, you should be like, this is just the exact two-step equation we've done a million times. What's happening to x is being multiplied by 2 and added to 4, so subtract 4 from both sides. That gets you 2x equals 6. And then what's happened to x is being multiplied by 2, so divide by 2, and you get x is 3. So your first step then when it comes to these questions is always to look at the x's on both sides of the question, realize which one weighs the least, and subtract it. And I think I put them in words here. Probably should have wrote. Anyway, we'll see if the words works. If you have an unknown on both sides, collect the unknowns to the same side. To do that, move the unknown that weighs the least. Remember, when you change your side, you change your sign. I always just, like that's what I wrote down, but in my mind, I always just subtract the x that weighs the least to both sides. And if I do that, I just always get something quite nice. If you did subtract 5x, the only reason I don't like doing it is because you'd get a negative 2x over here. And negative numbers are always, like who wants negative numbers, isn't it? So that's why we don't do that. Let's do another one. So 2x equals x plus 3. I wonder why it's not letting me use any other color apart from this. It's so weird. It's so weird. Okay, here we go. So 2x equals x plus 3. So 2x equals x plus 3. Let's zoom in a bit. Will it let me do that? Yes, it will. So what weighs less, 2x or x? So just the first things first. Notice that there's x's on both sides, unknowns on both sides. You always want to basically get all of the letters to one side and all the numbers to the other. That's how you solve anything, even the more complicated questions. It's always what you do. So here we've got 2x and x. Which one weighs less, 2 of something or 1 of something? And I hope you agree that 1 of something in general always weighs less than 2 of something. So let's subtract x from both sides. 2x take away 1x. If you need to remember it's 1x, it's just write that as well. 2x take away 1x is x or 1x. On this side, x take away 1x is nothing, and then plus 3 is just a plus 3. So then my answer is 1x equals 3. Done. Next one. 5x minus 6. 5x minus 6 equals 4x plus 8. Okay. Which would notice the x's on both sides. Don't like the unknowns on both sides. Pick one side that weighs the least, 5 of something or 4 of something. Hope you agree it's 4 of something. So let's take away 4x from both sides. That gets me x take away 6 equals 8. And then what's happening to x? Oh, it's being subtracted by 6. So let's add the 6. And that gets me x equals 14. Cool. Another one. Let's do another one. DJ Khaled. I don't know if that's a good reference. Anyway, right, 4x plus 1, 4x plus 1 equals 2x plus 11. Okay, notice that unknowns are on both sides. I don't like that. Subtract the one that weighs the least. I agree that 2x weighs less than 4x, so let's subtract 2x from both sides. If I do that, I get 4x take away 2x, which is 2x plus 1. That's a plus 1. And on this side, I get 2x plus 11 take away 2x, which is 11, isn't it? Then I can subtract the 1, because again, what's happening to x is being multiplied by 2 and added to 1. So I'm going to subtract that 1. That gets me 2x equals 10. And I can divide by 2 to get x equals 5. And then last but not least, before you have a go, it says 3x plus 9 equals 7x minus 7. Again, if you get a situation where you have more x's on one side, you don't like that, you can always just rearrange this, right? Like if I say something equals something else, I can just put this side over here and this side over there, can't I? Because if A equals B, then B equals A. If that equals that, it doesn't matter which order it says it, right? 2 plus 2 is 4, or 4 is 2 plus 2. It doesn't matter which way you say that because they are equal. So I'm just going to write 7x minus 7 on this side and 3x plus 9 on this side. And the reason for that is because I kind of like the x's being on the left. And I know I'm going to subtract 3x, aren't I, from both sides. So then that gets me 4x minus 7 equals 9. Then I can add the 7 to get 4x equals 16. And then I can divide by 4 to get x is 4. And what I do there, I added 7 and I divided by 4. Cool. Okay, hopefully that makes an incredible amount of sense. Have a go. There's a bunch of questions there. I've put them, so I put them all on the same page because I know a lot of you like to do this on like paper. I've also, if you download the PowerPoint, I've also put this on each individual page because then you can just write on the thing with me. What I would do is I'm just going to do, I think, D for each question. And the answers are also here, so like you can also check that yourself. So we'll do D for each question, but I'm going to leave the full page up for now, and then I'm going to go to each individual page and just do D, and then we'll move on. And yeah, if I was you, I would just do enough of these questions to make sure you get it. There's a reason that they're or leveled the way they are. In this one, once you move one of the letters, you basically have the answer done. So that's a really easy one. And these ones, you have to do 2 steps. Like after you've moved it, and you have to divide by something. And these ones gets a bit interesting, and you'll see they have different reasons. We're going to do D, and we'll talk about it. Okay, so let's have a look. So let's zoom in a bit first. I really wonder why am I only getting one color? You probably have to pay for a subscription series or something. They probably update. Anyway, so 27y equals 26y, take away 10. Okay. What way is less? It's 27y or 26y? It's 26y, so let's take away 26y from both sides. If I do that, I just get 1y equals negative 10, and then I don't have to do anything. I'm done. Right? Because y is negative 10, and then that's all I wanted. Cool. What about the next one? This one. I want the pen. No, it's not even give me the pen. Look at this. What's going on? Okay. 19z equals 13z, take away 18. Sorry, I say z. Some people say z, I know. You're also going to hate the way I draw z's already. Anyway, so what way is less, 19z or 13z? 13z, so let's take away 13z from both sides. Yeah, my z's have a line through it, sorry. If I do that, I get 6z equals negative 18. And then what's happening to z? It's being multiplied by 6, so let's divide by 6. And that gets me z equals negative 3. Because 18 divided by 6 is 3, right? So negative is going to be a negative answer. Okay, what about this one? This is a really interesting one. There's a reason I say what I say when it comes to making sure you subtract the one that weighs the least, because this is a perfect example of what might cause issues. But let's see. So negative 9u equals negative u, take away 40. Technically, what weighs less, negative u or negative 40? Negative 1u or negative 9u? Well, negative 9u weighs less. So if I subtract negative 9u, well, if I subtract a negative, I technically add, don't I? So I'm just going to add 9u to both sides. That would get me 0 on this side. That would get me 8u on this side. And then from there, I go, okay, 8u take away 40. Let's write it all together. 8u take away 40 equals 0. What's happened to u? It's being multiplied by 8 and subtracted by 40. So let's add the 40. So 8u equals 40. And then what's happening to 8? What's happening to u is being multiplied by 8. So divide by 8. And you get u is 5. Woo. Okay, you actually didn't have to do that way. You could have just added the u instead, and you would have got negative 8u as, let's just do it. If you added the u instead, or subtracted negative u, so added u, you would have got negative 8u equals negative 40. Then you could have just divided by negative 8 and got u is 5 as well. So either way that method works, it's all good. And then last but not least, 4 minus y equals 4. 4 minus y equals 4. I mean, without going into too much detail, like I normally don't do this, but this question literally says 4 take away something is 4. Then that something is 0, isn't it? Like common sense wise, that something 0, isn't it? 4 take away 0 is 4. Anyway, let's pretend we didn't notice that. Right, what I'm going to do, we don't have a y on both sides. So I'm just going to subtract 4 from both sides. Because it's technically negative y plus 4, isn't it? That's actually what it is, the same. So if I subtract 4 from both sides, I get negative y is 0. And then if negative y is 0, weirdly enough, y is 0. I don't know. Still a bit of a silly question, that one. Don't really like it. Okay, anyway, I hope you practice enough of these that you're comfortable. All the answers are there. If there's any one where you're like, I don't completely understand that, please let me see why. Email me or something, and I will happily either make a video or try explain it using words or maybe some kind of song and dance. I don't know. Cool. Right. This question then, slightly different in it. This question is slightly different. Why is it different? So this is a question now, all my grade 9s in the ones I actually teach in person, they get this one wrong because they're like, oh, again, I've got X's and I know I need to have to get them to the same side. So I'm going to have to subtract the one that weighs the least. But if you stop and realize why that sentence doesn't make any sense, is they're already on the same side. 3x and negative 7x are on the left-hand side of my wall. So what do we do in this situation? Just simplify it before you do it. What is 3x take away 7x? It's negative 4x plus 18 equals 34. So then subtract 18 to get negative 4x is, 16? And then divide by negative 4. And you get x is negative 4. Because 16 divided by 4 is 4. So 16 divided by negative 4, negative 4. Cool. What about this one? So we're going to solve the equation and then we're going to check our answer. So let's do that. So again, which one weighs the least? negative 2u or 5u. Well, I'd rather have 5 something than someone else 2 something. So negative 2u weighs the least here. I'm going to subtract negative 2u, which again, if you subtract a negative, you actually add. So I'm going to add 2u to both sides. That gets me negative 8 equals 7u minus 1. I know some people do not like it being on the far right-hand side, so you can easily write this as 7u minus 1 equals negative 8. Nothing wrong there. Then, what's happening to u? It's being multiplied by 7 and subtracted by 1. So let's add the 1 to both sides. That gets me 7u equals negative 7. And then I can divide by 7 and get u equals negative 1. Now the question says, check your answer. And you might be like, what are you talking about? How can I check my answer? Well, literally, we're going to put u as negative 1 into here. So I'm going to put u as negative 1 into there. I'm going to put u as negative 1 into here. And I'm going to hope that the left-hand side is equal to the right. Because if it's not, I've done everything wrong. And that would be incredibly embarrassing on video. So negative 2 times negative 1, because that's what that means on the left, isn't it? Negative 2u is negative 2 times whatever u is, not negative 1. So negative 2 times negative 1 take away 8 is just 2 take away 8, which is negative 6, right? Negative 2 times negative 1 is 2, so yeah, good. And then 5 times negative 1 take away 1. Well, 5 times negative 1 is negative 6. Negative 6 take away 1 is negative 6. Are they both the same? Yes, they are. So I know I've got the answer right because it's proved. I've proved it. Okay, last example I'm doing, and then again, there's just a bunch of questions to try. Here we go. So it is okay, especially in mathematics, for answers to be fractions / decimals. Especially level 4 questions, there are definitely going to be situations where the answer is going to be a fraction or the answer is going to be a decimal. That's okay. So let me show you. So 4x plus 1 equals negative 2x minus 3. Okay, which one weighs less, 4x or negative 2x? Hopefully you agree negative 2 is a smaller number than 4. Or further to the left of the number line than 4, right? So I'm going to subtract negative 2x. But again, if I subtract a negative, I'm technically adding. So I add 2x to both sides. That gets me 6x plus 1 equals negative 3. Because 4x plus 2x, right? Yeah. And then subtract 1 from both sides. Gets me 6x equals negative 4. And then divide by 6. And I get divide by 6. And I get x equals negative 4 over 6. Or negative 2 over 3 if you simplify. Now you could write that as a decimal. It's technically 0.666666666, right? But in general, and this is something you're going to have to get used to, in maths, we tend to keep things as fractions as opposed to decimals. And the reason for that is because, especially something like, and we should go on a bit of a tangent here, especially something like 17 over 4, right? 17 over 4, you could write as a mixed fraction, of course. But 17 over 4, the reason that's so nice to me is because I know if I could somehow, unless it was an equation, if I could somehow times this by 4, I would know that might be 17. Whereas I might not know 17 over 4 is a decimal, which is 4.25. I might not know timesing that by 4 is going to be instantly 17. So you'll find it, especially in higher level maths and higher level physics, and chemistry probably, you'll find that a lot of people start to get away from decimals because they're annoying, and we start to write fractions. Especially if you think about this decimal as well, negative 0.6666, like where do you stop writing it, right? Could you write 3 decimals, 4 decimal places? Different people say different things, right? But if you say negative 2 over 3, nobody can argue that's what it is. Anyway, be comfortable with fractions, be comfortable with negative fractions, and that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's basically it. So there's a bunch of questions here. That's a ridiculous amount of questions. I've separated them again because I know that a lot of people like to do it on the actual PowerPoint when they download it and write on it. The answers are all there. If you would like me to do any of the questions, I can do. But I just feel like this is the same skill over and over again now, isn't it? So, yeah. I mean, maybe we do question 8. Should we do question 8 together? I don't know if I'm going to do question 8. That's what I'm going to do. Let's do it. Okay. Doubling a number and decreasing the result by 22. Okay, so doubling a number, let's call that number x. So 2 times a number, doubling a number, and then decreasing a number by 22 is the same result as quadrupling the number, so 4 times the number, and increasing it by 15. So doing 2x minus 22 is the same as 4x plus 15. So there's the equation. Then we can solve it like normal, can't we? Subtract 2x from both sides because it outweighs the least. So that's going to get me negative 22 equals 2x plus 15. Or, if you prefer, flip it the other side, right? 2x plus 15 is negative 22. Then, what's happening to x is being multiplied by 2 and added to 15. So I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. That gets me negative 37 equals 2x, or 2x is negative 37. Then divide it by 2, and you get, let me actually draw an arrow instead. You're going to get x is negative 37 over 2, which I can just say is going to be what? Negative 38 would be 14, so negative 13.5. 13.5. Cool. Okay. That's me done. That is the unit done. I'll post the everything that I believe you need. And that's it for me. Cool. As always, pleasure. I will see you tomorrow, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Bye.